Brianna, and on my channel I go by my skate name, Simon Slays. In today's video, I'm going to teach you and show you 6 different stances that you can have as a roller skater. Stance is essentially your form as a skater when you're skating. Most skaters have a dominant form that they choose. A lot of skaters learn to be ambidextrous because it's important to be able to switch if you want to go a different direction, and it's also just really fun to be able to skate in different stances. We're going to cover 6 different stances in this video. I'm going to break them down, I'm going to demonstrate them for you and show you each one and teach you the differences between them all. So this way you'll be able to easily identify what stance that you prefer, and then also if you're ever skating with someone else and they have a different stance that they skate in and you're trying to translate or teach a trick, whether they're trying to teach you the trick or you're trying to show them, sometimes that's a little harder trying to break it down if you have a different stance. This is going to affect like which direction you turn, how you break down the trick. You may have different lines or different approaches depending on your stance that you go into it. And also I think it's important to know the terminology, so when you say something like fakie, you can use that word appropriately and know what it means. So yeah, let's get into the video and learn about stances. We're going to cover 6 stances in this video: natural, goofy, switch, side stance, prone, and fakie. Natural means your left foot is forward and dominant with your left side forward. And then goofy is when you skate with your right foot forward. So I skate goofy, right foot forward, and I skate with my right side forward, with my left foot back and my weight on my left side. Switch. Switch is when basically you just switch your stance. So instead of whatever your normal dominant foot is, having that forward, you have the other foot forward, so the opposite foot. So if you usually skate right foot forward, it's switching with your left foot forward. I do like skating switch. I tried tricks, especially stall switch, but I do not like switching when I'm doing anything in the transition, like carving left, airing left, turning left, anything to do with going left. I just don't like it. I prefer to go right, and that's my preference, and that's because I lead with my right foot. Side stance is when you are skating heel to heel with your toes out. It's skating sideways. If you've studied any quad vert skating history and read some articles on that, that's actually the traditional way that park roller skating was. This was the original stance because it mimicked the skateboarders with a true front side and back side in the same kind of stance. So that's what side stance is, and some people call it crap. I pretty much like all the stances. I think that side stance is the hardest if you take that to the transition for me, because that's not the way I learned, and that would be a skill that I would have to develop if I wanted to learn how to skate in that stance at the park. Historically, a lot of skaters used to quad skate at the park and vert skate were side stance skaters, so that's getting back to our roots within the history of park roller skating if you skate that stance. There's very few people that side stance skate, and if you do, you should comment below and let me know, because that's really cool, and I definitely love to see skaters who are learning how to side stance and who park roller skate. Prone is a forward skating stance. I basically just say forward or front facing. I don't really use the word prone, but that is the technical word for that stance. So if you're skating forward and you're facing forward, then that is called prone. Fakie is the opposite of prone. Fakie is skating backwards. If you are moving towards your back instead of the way you're facing, that is fakie. I really like doing tricks that are fakie and skating fakie. What determines a stance? Stance is determined by what direction your body is oriented. So if you're facing forward, or if you're skating sideways, or if you're rolling backwards. That's one part of what determines a stance. But the main thing that determines stance is which foot is dominant, which foot is forward. So that is essentially how you can determine what a stance is. What is the dominant foot that's forward? What is the lead foot? That will determine if it's natural or goofy. And then how is the body oriented as the person is skating? That will determine if you're skating prone, side stance, or fakie. This is a good thing to pay attention to when you're trying to learn a trick from someone else showing you how to do a trick. Something that may be really smart to check is see if they have a different lead leg or dominant foot than you. So is their right foot forward? Do you skate left foot forward? How will you need to translate or change the trick when you learn it and break it down and apply it to yourself? This is really important when you're watching videos. And then also they may have a different type of stance. So are they skating forward facing? Are they skating fakie? Or are they skating side stance? Being able to identify these things and even being able to just know what it's called is super helpful in being able to teach other people and learn yourself. Picking a stance. When you're picking a stance, you don't have to pick just one stance. However, you will have a foot that is dominant and that you probably will end up preferring. It is good to be able to switch and be balanced. However, you do need to be conscious of your stance when you're doing tricks to be able to know how to approach them, what direction to turn, all that. It is important to pick a stance when you are going into a trick or when you're trying to do something and be conscious of that, because that will affect how you do that trick and sometimes which way you turn and all of that. And what foot you have forward can really come into play when you start doing rotations, which we're going to get to in the next video in this series. Some skaters don't have a preference when they first start out and they're trying to figure out stance. So what I would just recommend for you is practice switching from putting one foot forward than the other one and see which one you like better. And then just pick the one that is most comfortable for you and that you feel most confident skating in. Usually one stance or one foot will be dominant. That's your lead. A lead foot is essentially just whatever foot is forward, whatever foot is your dominant foot. Pick one stance to be your normal or your preferred stance. This is the stance that you are going to approach all your tricks in and learn them. And of course, you can also learn to be balanced and skate switch. I think it's really smart to be ambidextrous and be able to do it with both sides of your body. And it's going to be really helpful as you continue to learn more skills and park skating tricks. Prone isn't a word that's used a lot, but it's actually the most common stance that I see skaters learning and skating and park skating in, which is facing forward. So it just means that you're orienting your body facing forward. And then the other stance would be side stance. When you are skating sideways, your body is oriented sideways and you have one toe pointing forward and one toe pointing back. When you're skating prone, both your toes are pointing forward, just like the front of your body is facing forward. And then when you're skating fakie, you're skating in the same overall position and orientation as prone. You're just skating backwards, so the direction is different. So if you're bored and you're looking for something to challenge you in your skating, try to switch up. Try to do something in a switch stance or a side stance, or try going a different direction, like rolling fakie and doing a trick instead of doing it forwards. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of inspiration to mix it up with your skating, to challenge yourself and your skills. And yeah, I hope that you try out a new stance. And don't forget to let me know in the comment section below which stance you skate and which stance you would like to try out. In the next video in this series, we'll get into rotations and we'll cover front side and back sides, which I know can be confusing, but if you want to stick around to see that video, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button, and if you hit the notification bell, YouTube actually notifies you when I upload a new video. So make sure you do that, turn notifications on, and that way you don't miss my upcoming videos, because I will be continuing this new series and teaching you all these different park roller skating terminologies, starting with the most basic and building up to other things. So I hope that this video was informative for you. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and let me know. I really appreciate that. Comment below, what stance do you skate in, and what stance would you like to try that you haven't, and which stance have you tried that you think is the hardest? I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Thank you, Kyle, for helping me film.
What'd you say?
Action shot.